In this video, I'm going to build out the new Little Guy Racing Parts Eliminator chassis kit. This kit is super sharp. It's got billet aluminum frame rails with a bunch of injection molded supporting components. It's going to give you a great base to build upon. Now this kit is intended for the SCX24 long wheelbase models, specifically the Power Wagon or the Gladiator. So as you can see, I've already converted the Power Wagon. It's looking a whole lot different, a whole lot more aggressive now. So let's jump in. I'm going to show you the build. Then we're going to check it out on the course, see how this thing does in action. All right, here's our kit here. This is the Eliminator kit. Let's open this up and take a look. Lots of individually wrapped components. Love that we get the aluminum links to come with this. We also get some very clear printed instructions. They've even color coded the hardware for us and given us a key here to follow to make this as easy as possible. We get our hardware here again. Even the hardware bags are labeled with the colors corresponding with the instructions. All right, with everything opened, we're going to dig into this here. So to assemble this, you're going to need your basic set of tools. Our primary tool is going to be this 0.05 inch hex driver. Let's start at the front and work our way back. So we've got our bumper piece here. It's going to go right there. These chassis rails really nice, strong, rigid aluminum here. That right there. The piece with the LGRP logo is going to go towards the front. I'm just going to kind of mock this up first here to start. So there's pretty much our layout here. The rear hinge is not included. You're going to reuse your stock hinge, or you can purchase one from LGRP. And again, so let's start right from the front. We got our cool little winch here. It's going to go right on the front as well. Here, a little fair lead. We're primarily going to be using this blue bag of hardware. These are your M1.4 by 5 millimeters. It's our little winch on the bumper. So we want to get our shock towers out here. The larger towers are going to go in the front. Let's look inside the triangle. We got this kind of A frame here. The more elongated one indicates the front. These are going to go right here. These hook pieces are going to go towards the back. As you can see, they slot right up against this raised portion of the frame. I'm going to put the rear ones on while I'm right here. Again, hook shape goes towards the middle of the chassis. It butts right up against the raised portion of the frame. Super clean fit there. Thing to be mindful of when you are putting these on. The part that's going to go on the outside where you put the screws in, you've got sunken holes here so that these screws are flush with the mount. So just be mindful of that. You want those sunken parts on the outside so when you put your screws in, they're nice and flush. There's our chassis rails right there. I'm going to do one side at a time. So I like to finish one side and then we'll bolt the rest of them on. So I'm going to do the driver's side first, starting with the bumper here. So the chassis rails go inside the bumper like that, and you can see the bumper mount also has sunken holes for the hardware. Now your ESC and your battery trays and everything, these are reversible. You can flip them whichever way you see fit. It's kind of the nice part of the versatility of this kit. But for now, I'm going to lay it out the way it is from the factory. This piece with this kind of protruding lip here, this is going to go in the front. Now when you put this on, the side with the logo is going to face down. So you want these triangular pieces are going to be facing downwards. Same with the rear tray. You want the logo piece facing down. Triangular portions down as well. Double-sided openings here are going to go towards the back. What I'm showing you guys here is just how it's laid out from the factory. One of the cool things about this kit is the customization. You can flip-flop these things all around, flip them over, change direction to suit your build. Finishing off the rear, we have these molded pieces here. These are going to go in the back. And you can kind of see your bumper and your hinge mount from the SCX24 is going to slot right in there. So the larger piece is going to go towards the front, and you want it kind of sweeping down. So go just like this. The screws on this one are going to go on the inside. Just like that. There's one side. Now it's at this point that you want to source your skid plate, because we're going to put this on next before we go into the sliders. So what I have here, I have the Little Guy Racing Parts SCX24 skid plate V2. Your stock skid plate will work just fine with this, but we're going to put the skid plate on first And we're also going to do our linkage. We're going to do our upper links here, because once these sliders are on, you're not going to be able to access those. So we're going to bolt the skid plate on. So we're going to situate the skid plate right in here, and we're going to put our upper links on and bolt those up. And we're going to use our green hardware. I'm going to put a 5mm just to hold the skid in place, so I'm not trying to do this all one-handed. We're going to want to remove this, but just so that I can get the linkage in here. That's the rear, I'll do the front. I'm going to back out that first little screw that I put in there, and we should now be able to put our slider on. Now the slider is this more elongated triangular piece, is going to go towards the rear of the chassis. 5mm screws. We'll bolt these ears onto the frame. Now you can see underneath here we've got these channels here for our hardware. We're going to use the yellow. These are an 8mm screw to go into the skid. It's like that. On top of the slider we had these little trim pieces here. They're going to go right over this. So they're held on with our 5mm from the bottom. Nice sliders there. So that is one complete side. Now I'm going to just mirror this. I'm going to bolt the rest of it on, and I will circle back with you guys when it's done. We'll check it all out in its complete state. Here is the completed kit here. You can see I put the other side on, everything bolted up exceptionally well. Great fit and finish here. Excellent, excellent looking chassis. The only additional piece that I did, other than just slapping the side together, was putting on the body mount and the upper cross brace here. So you've got a couple different options for your body mounting. It comes with the optional post. If you want to do a center mounted post, it also comes with the pin. If you want to retain the stock SCX24 setup with Velcro and or magnets, you have this option as well. Fits right in there. So a lot of versatility here and a lot of simplicity. It's going to be a real nice, easy conversion. And it's going to give you a ton of options for customization, both with your shock placement, your ESC, and your battery locations. Very nice. Assembly, super simple. The color-coded instructions, very grateful for those. Make this a really simple installation. The whole thing, start to finish, took about 35 minutes to build it, as you see here. But that's it. That is the Little Guy Racing Parts Eliminator chassis kit. Now I'm going to take this one step further. I'm going to put the Power Wagon onto this. So I did a initial build with my Power Wagon, but this is going to be perfect to take it to the next level. So I'm going to start making the conversion on that, and we'll see it all put together on an actual rig. Here is our finished product here. We got the Power Wagon all converted. Very, very simple swap here to put this body on. Utilizing the rear hinge mechanism here. Bolts directly up to the Eliminator chassis kit. I used the Velcro setup up front. This has adjustable posts. Made fitting this very, very simple. It's got a pretty much factory fit and finish to it. No problem whatsoever. Did have to trim the fenders here. This thing sits so slammed, and with these big tires, you're definitely going to need to trim to get all that clearance effectively. The bodywork came out okay. I'm going to have to smooth this out a little bit and touch it up. Just don't look at this side because I got a little out of control with my body reamer and I marred up the side there, which is unfortunate. This side came out pretty good. But overall, visually, this thing looks super gnarly. It just slams it right down. Ultra aggressive look and stance here. Very, very sharp. This is running some pretty cool upgrades here. It's got the new Super 8 V2 on here. Now these are prototype at the time of this recording. Very similar to the initial versions, but we do get these awesome slotted rotors and brake calipers out here for our hexes. We've got more of kind of a satin finish to it. Great looking axles here. The truck is sitting on these new 1552 satin black wheels wrapped in the Little Guy Racing Parts black label tires. The whole combination just looks super gnarly. Opening up the body, take a look at this. One thing I did do is I took off these additional rails on the sliders so I could get the body to sit flat. Inside here I've got my FuriTech Tegu 24 Pro sitting in the back. I'm going to run my battery up front. For a power plant in here, I've got the Little Guy Racing Parts Creeper motor. Now even with the interior still in the truck, it sits low enough down in the chassis. I've got plenty of clearance for the motor, the outrunner motor, to spin and not interfere with the interior. With these billet shock towers, we've got lots of room for adjustability. I might tune the rear a little bit to kind of bring that rear end a little bit up, or raise the front shocks to slam that a little bit more. Either way, you've got lots of options for shock placements here for customization. This is a very cool kit, very simple to build, simple conversion to swap over the Power Wagon. I'm really excited to see how it performs. So when we throw a battery in it, we're going to hit the indoor course, see this thing in action. Here we are on the course with the Power Wagon. Oh, it looks super gnarly. I had to turn my endpoints down significantly on these axles. I don't know if the V2 Super 8s have a more aggressive steering angle, but I had to turn it back 15% because I was getting a ton of rubbing. Those things were, even with the trimmed fenders. And I feel like even at 85% steering, I still got a bunch of angle here. Look at that. Those things are gnarly. Running on 2S. Oh, hung up on the bumper back there. There we go. Oh, this thing is so flat and gnarly looking. I was bummed out to trim those fenders, and even more bummed out that I scarred up the body, but boy, this thing looks so good. Alright, gonna drop down into Mini Moab. Oh, the stance on this is crazy, and that stubby front bumper with the winch on there. I love how this thing looks. I'm pushing off the side there. Super greasy on Mini Moab. Well, usually the black labels dominate the indoor course, but really having a hard time with this one spot. There we go. We got it that time. Let's check it out on the decline. Doing pretty good there, nice and composed. About some side hill across the chute. This thing's going to be super flat and planted, I think. Even though I've got no brass or anything for weight except for the wheels, the way this thing sits, it's just so planted. No problem on the side hill. I'll try Hell's Gate. My motor feels really jumpy. I had to go in and smooth that out with the Fury Car app. I noticed it was really twitchy on the descent on the chute as well. I'm pushing off to the side again. I don't have any brass on here, like I said, which I think is impacting my front end being a little less planted than I'm used to. Still able to creep up there though. Nice. Boy, this thing looks super gnarly. I like it a lot. Oh, so nasty with that stance. Looking good. The satin wheels on it. Man, this is a cool setup right here. Take one more spin up the canyon and we'll wrap this up. Nice, I like it. The old Power Wagon V3 here. Took this build to the next level. This Eliminator chassis kit was a fun project. Super simple to put together, only about 35 minutes to put together and completely install it. It's a seamless integration into the Power Wagon, and the appearance, the way this thing sits, the super aggressive stance, especially with these Super 8 axles. Man, this thing looks ultra gnarly with this setup. So I really like what Little Guy Racing Parts have done with this chassis kit. Those nice sharp billet aluminum rails and those shock towers give this thing a nice rigid feel, and I really like the new injected molded components over the 3D printed versions. They've got a really nice look and feel to them, which gives the whole kit a really nice polished look and feel. This is certainly a great way to spice up your SCX24 Power Wagon or your Gladiator, and it will fit longer wheelbase bodies as well, but you'll just have to figure out your own mounting system. This kit goes for about $110. I'll put a link in the description down below, and remember, you can use my discount code to save 10% on all things over at Little Guy Racing Parts. But guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think of the Eliminator kit and the Power Wagon build? And as always, I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'll see you in the next video.